Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have an amazing English story that will help you improve your listening, learn new words, and practice English. So grab your headphones, relax, and let's dive in. There are stories that the world thinks it already knows. Familiar faces, famous names, headlines that glow for a moment and fade. But behind the light, there's always shadow. And sometimes that shadow tells a truer story than fame ever could. This is one of those stories, the story of a girl who had everything except control over her own life. Britney Spears, a name that once meant youth, energy, perfection, the dream of an entire generation. But before the stage lights and the cameras, there was just a small-town girl from Louisiana, a child who sang not for fame but for freedom. She was born into simplicity, long summers, quiet nights, and a sky that seemed endless. She sang in church, on porches, in school plays, and every time she sang, people stopped. There was something raw in her voice, something unpolished and real. The world noticed. And before she could understand what was happening, she was gone, pulled into a machine that eats dreams and calls it success. The entertainment industry doesn't nurture innocence, it consumes it. It takes a child's wonder and replaces it with pressure, image, control. Britney became a product long before she became a woman. The lights, the crowds, the fame, they came fast, too fast. Her smile became a brand. Her voice became currency, and somewhere between the rehearsals and the interviews, she stopped being a person and became a story everyone thought they could own. But no one saw what was happening when the cameras turned off: the exhaustion. The loneliness, the silent ache of being loved by millions, yet known by none. They called her America's sweetheart. But she was America's anything. She was a girl trying to survive in a cage made of applause. Then came the cracks. The headlines, the rumors, the breakdowns that weren't really breakdowns, just moments when the mask finally slipped. She shaved her head. The world laughed. But they didn't see the pain behind that act, the quiet rebellion of a woman saying, "You don't own me anymore." It wasn't madness. It was protest, a desperate attempt to reclaim her own skin, her own name, her own silence. But the world doesn't forgive women who stop smiling. They called her unstable, unfit, dangerous, and the system agreed. For 13 years, her life was no longer her own. A conservatorship, a legal cage where every dollar she earned, every word she spoke, every step she took was monitored, signed, approved. She sang for millions but couldn't decide what to eat for dinner. She danced for sold-out arenas but wasn't allowed to drive a car alone. They turned her voice into property again. Imagine that. To stand beneath the lights, surrounded by people cheering your name, and know that you don't even own your freedom. For years, she smiled through it. She posted pictures, performed songs, said everything was fine. But silence can only hold so much, and one day it cracked. When her voice finally returned, when she spoke, truly spoke, the world listened. And for the first time, they didn't hear a pop star. They heard a survivor. "I just want my life back," she said. Simple words, but in them was the weight of everything she had lost: her youth, her choices, her identity. The world changed after that. The fans who once screamed at concerts screamed again, this time for justice. Free Britney wasn't just a hashtag, it was an awakening, a reminder that even those who seem to have everything can be prisoners in plain sight. And when freedom finally came, it wasn't triumphant. It was quiet. No fireworks, no grand finale, just a woman standing in the ruins of her own story, trying to understand what free really means. Because freedom after captivity isn't easy. It's fragile, it's heavy. It comes with the silence of lost years and the question, who am I now? Britney's story isn't just about fame or control. It's about the way the world consumes its idols and then wonders why they fall apart. It's about how we mistake performance for happiness, beauty for peace, and attention for love. But beneath all the noise, there's something deeper, a reminder that strength doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like surviving another day. Sometimes it's the courage to stand still while the world tries to spin you apart. Britney once said she felt like she was living in a dream, one she couldn't wake from. But maybe now, after everything, she's learning what it means to live in reality, her own, imperfect, quiet reality. And maybe that's the point of her story. That healing isn't glamorous. It's slow, it's painful, it's invisible, but it's real. The lights fade, the cameras turn off, and somewhere far from the stage, a woman breathes, not for an audience, not for approval, but for herself. That's the part no one writes songs about. The part where she's not Britney the star, but Britney the human, the girl who sang because it made her feel alive. The industry took that voice once. But it couldn't take her will to keep finding it. Maybe that's why her story resonates, because in her, we see our own cages, our own struggles to be seen, to be heard, to exist beyond expectation. We see what it means to lose yourself and what it costs to come back. Fame gave her everything, then it took everything back. But somewhere in that endless cycle of rise and fall, she discovered something stronger than either: resilience. Britney's legacy isn't just in music, it's in endurance, in the quiet reminder that no matter how deep the silence goes, there's always a way back to yourself. And maybe one day, when history looks at her, it won't see the scandals, the breakdowns, the headlines. It'll see the woman who survived all of them. Because in the end, the story of Britney Spears isn't about what she lost, it's about what she refused to let go of: her voice, her truth, her humanity. And that's something no court, no contract, no system could ever truly own.